10月4号我出去，那么10月7号的晚上我就不会再把论文发到周瑜老师的邮箱里面。诗经有云：语不有初，写客有终。坚持写完第一篇以后，我便不再对写论文进行恐惧。很多时候，偶然坚持便预示了必然的结果。第二个是学会交流，这是一个信息爆炸的时代，新的知识浩如烟海。作为一个生态学学生，R语言以及本地知识要求很高，对于一个开业小白来说，入门并非易事。但通过与课题组廖志友老师以及其他单位的张志杰师兄以及同门发现的多次交流，我发现很多东西往往能够事半功倍，豁然开朗。4. 如何能将自己的研究讲述清楚，也是一件极为重要的事情。我认为版纳植物园的开题、周期以及毕业答辩培养模式，个人认为很有必要。3次的答辩，3次的进步，让我感觉自己有着质的飞跃。未来也希望师弟师妹们能够珍惜这3次机会。同学们，聚散两依，离别终有时。今后无论我们从事什么工作，我相信版纳园3年的经历都将是我们人生的宝贵财富。前路漫漫，不敢说一帆风顺，但求大家都能勇敢向前。最后，再次感谢各位领导、老师以及亲友们在我们在园期间的给予的指导以及帮助。祝愿版纳植物园蒸蒸日上，早日成为世界一流植物园。祝愿各位老师们身体健康，桃李满天下。祝愿亲友们阖家幸福。再次祝贺我们毕业快乐，谢谢。
谢谢师兄。下边我们请Lapuz的线上发言。
Sedricke，
大家下午好。今天下午，我仅代表所有的线上毕业生进行演讲。In English, good afternoon, everyone. This afternoon, I was asked to speak on behalf of students graduating online. However, living away from China for 2 years now has eroded my Chinese speaking capabilities, as you may have heard from my short demonstration just now. So please excuse me if I deliver the rest of this speech in English. When I was deliberating on what I wanted to say this afternoon, I had to relive the memories from the past 6 years of doing my PhD. It started with a semester in the big city of Beijing, followed by 3 years in the Xishuangbanna countryside, which were interspersed with academic trips to Germany, Thailand, Laos, and South Africa. However, in 2020, the PhD experience as I knew it was fully interrupted by a global pandemic that put a stopper to more travel plans, forced me to be grounded here in my home country, the Philippines, and prevented me from returning back to China. This was not the PhD finish I envisioned for myself. Back in 2020, I was still hoping for a miracle that would allow students stuck outside to return to XTVG. Do you know that Facebook group called Foreigners Stuck Outside China? I diligently checked every day that website for any news. But as weeks turned to months, it was apparent that it wasn't happening. And so, as the saying goes, when life gives you lemons, you make lemonades. I was determined to finish this doctorate that I spent the past 4 years toiling on, and no pandemic would prevent me from getting my degree. And so, I am speaking to you now, more than 2,200 kilometers away, giving proof that it is possible to overcome adversity when you put everything into it. To achieve this, I learned some things that I wish to share that may encourage fellow students who are in the midst of finishing their respective degrees. First, always go back to your why. Why did you go into graduate school? I had to ask this to myself in my first year of the PhD, during my first fieldwork surveying Yunnan savannas. It was a rainy afternoon, and the particular sampling plot we chose was on this steep slope and had tall grasses with sharp blades that could cut skin as one walked past them. It was already difficult to set up the plot given these, when suddenly I saw that in the middle of the field was this ravine that we had to jump across in order to connect the sampling lines. At this point, I got so frustrated and I could not believe that I had to cross an actual, literal ravine to finish this PhD. I just flopped myself down beside the scrap on the ground and thought of why. Why was I there? Why did I have to do this? Why can't life be easier? I then thought of every single decision I made in my life that led me to that patch of savanna in the middle of nowhere, Yunnan. It then hit me. The major decisions in my life were born out of my sheer interest in and passion for science. I've really enjoyed biology since high school, and I let that guide my decision on which program to take during university, leading me to my future jobs. Once that moment of clarity descended upon me, it was as if I had this newly energized self that enabled me to jump over that ravine that symbolized my hesitation to continue forward. Second, and I had to truly learn this, hard work is essential in finishing a PhD, pandemic or not. Doing this level of scientific research requires incredible amounts of grit. All the tasks that we had to do, from digging old literature to encoding data one by one into spreadsheets, to counting individual pixels in satellite imagery, all require incredible levels of perseverance. It could be frustrating, especially with the pandemic that added an extra layer of difficulty. I remember being so upset in 2020. However, after some time, I told myself that this pandemic is something out of my control. What I could control was to finish my analysis and write my thesis. So I then focused my energy into those instead. Task by task, line by line, code by code, paragraph by paragraph. I guess what I'm saying here is take time to get livid if you must, but also there's the option to transform the energy from anger and frustration into something productive. Once again, go back to your why. If the why is still going forward, then move forward. Third, remember that seeking help is always an option. Even if we are trained to be independent scientists as PhD students, it doesn't mean that we have to do everything by ourselves. Collaboration is key. It's completely okay to ask for assistance, especially if we're doing something we haven't tried before. Ask help from professors, colleagues, or friends. Most of the time, they are happy to extend a helping hand. In my case, I had to seek assistance from former colleagues who are remote sensing experts to achieve one of my thesis objectives. After the experience of conducting the work together, my former colleagues and I found that we both learned from each other and became better scientists by the end of it. And on the other end, pay it forward too. Extend help to those who need it when you can. You never know, you might also be helping someone complete their degree. 4. Take breaks when you can. Rest is important for our mental health, especially during a pandemic. Our jobs as academics require us to think, and when our brains are drained from overthinking, they burn out. Burnout is the enemy of critical thinking. Taking breaks can take many forms. Dining out with friends, working out at the gym, doing a meditative walk, which is fantastic to do in XTBG, driving your e-bike to the rubber plantations, which I used to do after a particularly grueling workday, traveling to Shangri-La, or the mere act of shutting down your laptop and staying away from it for a couple of minutes, or maybe days. Whatever it is, make sure you recharge so that you can accomplish your best work. And finally, claim ownership of your work. Stand by it. Be proud of it. Sometimes we tend to be apprehensive about sharing our work because perhaps we think they remain unfinished and need more work. When this happens to me, I try to look back at what I have done so far and see that I have already done so much to be proud of. Academia is a swiftly moving environment. It is important to put forward our ideas, so we must do it. But of course, without losing humility. Science thrives when ideas are diverse, but more so when there is mutual respect within the community. Now, as a message to fellow graduates via the World Wide Web, congratulations, really. Getting a PhD is a feat in itself, but to do so outside our beloved XTBG should be beyond possibility, and yet we did it. What we have accomplished during this extraordinary period in human history is extraordinary in itself. Let us pat ourselves on our backs and together hope that the lessons we learned from this experience can enable us to move through life better and stronger. We did it. This, of course, would not have been possible without the help of the people who supported us along the way. To our professors, mentors, colleagues, thank you for providing academics, scientific, administrative, and financial support to do our work. To our families, parents, partners, loved ones, friends. Thank you for providing emotional and maybe also financial support to help us get our degrees. Many thanks to all of you. And to my mom and dad who are here watching me and videotaping me as I speak, I will address them using my native tongue. Maraming salamat sa inyong patuloy na pagsuporta sa akin upang maabot ko ang aking mga pangarap. Maraming salamat sa pagtanggap sa akin ng buong buo. Mahal ko kayo. I love you. To XCBG, thank you for changing my life. I miss you, and I hope I can go back to hear the waters of your fountain sometime in the future again. To fellow graduates of 2022, congratulations and best of luck to us until we meet again. Thanks.
我们欢迎在读研究生代表黄忠德发言，大家欢迎。